I'm gonna brief last topic, that is transactional and transformational theories of leadership. So in this lecture you are going to understand what is a transactional type of leadership and what are the transformational type of leadership and how do they apply in the organizational context. So in last lecture I dealt about situational theories of leadership, in that Blanchard and Hersey and Goldsman model of the situational leadership. They have provided the separate type of separate styles of leadership. Based on that, we have to match, we have to balance, we have to select best fit model. So learning objectives of this session is, after watching this video, you need to apply and evaluate the transactional and transformational theories of leadership in an organization setting. So learning outcomes of this lecture is, you need to understand different aspects of transactional and transformational leadership. Without delay, let us go for one by one. So firstly, let us understand what is transformational leadership. Transformational leadership is the highest level of leadership and which is the highest form of motivation. Then let us understand what is transformational type of leadership. In the case of transformational leader, they provide a new vision. The transformational leader transforms followers into people who self-actualize, who made the transformational leader will make the people, the follower, give a new insight, new vision. They completely transform into self-reliant, into self-actualize. So these transformational leaders are also like a charismatic leaders. This is a charismatic leadership is a basic, is a central for transformational leadership. In the case of charismatic leadership, we see a leader as a hero without any objection, without any questioning him, we will follow. So this is a central for transformational leadership. These kind of transformational leaders, they guide, they motivate their followers in the direction of established goals. Firstly, they will establish goals. Later on, they will guide, they will motivate the followers by clarifying the role and task requirement routinely. So this is a case of a transformational leadership. That is why I told you they give new version, new vision, new insight to the followers. So in case of transformational leadership, there exists a kind of understanding between the leaders and followers that if the goals are achieved, what will happen? If the goals are achieved, the followers' own interest and the desires will be rewarded. So after achieving a goal, the followers' own interest and desires will be rewarded. They will be given extra rewards. They will be given extra praise and something like that. So this is about transformational leadership. Let us say enlighten some more thing about transformational leadership. So this type of leadership, leaders pay attention to the concern and development needs of individuals follower. So transformational leaders pay attention individually to the follower. They change followers' awareness of issues by helping them to look old problems in a new ways, new version. They give new kind of solution to the old problems also. They are able to excite, arouse and inspire followers to put extra effort in order to achieve group goals. So transformational leaders are highest level of leaders in the leadership styles. So as I told you, they give new insight, they give new version, they give new vision, they excite the follower, they arouse the follower, they inspire the followers to put extra effort in order to achieve group goals. So this is about transformational leadership. Now let us see the characteristics of transformational leaders. So firstly, charisma. As I told you, we saw that charismatic leadership is a central for transformational leaders. So charisma is a first character. Charisma in the sense they are the hero to the followers. They, without questioning, they will accept everything from the leader. In the sense, charisma in the sense they provides a vision, sense of mission, instills pride, gains respect and trust each other. So here we are just not only talking about objectives, tasks, goals, something like that. Here we are talking more than objectives, task completion and something like that. So here we are talking about vision, we are talking about mission, instills pride, gains of respect and trust each other. So this is what charismatic characteristics of transformational leadership. So one more characteristics is inspired motivation. That's very important. All the followers of transformational leaders are inspired by their leaders. How they will become inspired to the follower means they communicate high expectation. So this kind of expectation is beyond the capacity of followers. They never expected that something would happen, something like that they can do. So like that, beyond expectation, they communicate, they set standards, in the sense high expectation, use symbols to focus effort. Just here symbols will be worked out, and very importantly expresses important purpose in a simple way. They won't make complexity, they will explain it in a simple way, very simple way. And here one more thing, intellectual stimulation. If your followers are very intelligence, they promote such kind of followers also. So some kind of leader, they won't accept the followers if they are very intelligent, but in case of transformational leaders, they promotes intelligence, rationality, thinking independently and careful problem solving. They promote this kind of behavior in the followers. That is why it is an intellectual stimulation. So individual consideration, as I told you, they give personal attention to each and every employee. They treat each employee individually. They coaches to individual employee, they advise to individual employee. So give personal attention to every employee. So this is about characteristics, few characteristics of transformational leadership. Now let us see some of the qualities of transformational leadership. So here very importantly, leader encourages employees growth and development. That's very important. They set high level of expectation so that they encourage growth and development. Train subordinates to become leader themselves. That's very important. We cannot see this kind of behavior anywhere except transformational leadership. The transformational leaders expect their follower to become leader. So move employees away from self-interest. Some of the employees are having self-interest. These kind of leaders move away employees from self-interest into the mindset of communal success, which means organizational success. They make transformational leadership make trade-off between self-interest to organizational interest. That's very important. And very importantly, they provide, transformational leaders provide to subordinate enough space to make their own decision. They promote to make own decision by the followers. So very importantly, they also encourage team building, improve communication among team members. They always take so much of interest, so much of initiative to improve communication in case of transformational leadership. So this is about transformational leadership. Now let us see transactional leadership. So before that, let me tell you one thing. Say for example, I helped a person by giving 1000 rupees, imagine. So for that, after exactly 1 month, he returned that amount with interest. So what is that? There and a transaction taken place. A transaction taken place by this action. So action to reaction. Why I am giving this example is this applies in the case of transactional leadership. We are hearing the term transaction in the sense give and take policy. That's very simple about transactional leadership. So here every form of leadership involves some method of motivating employees. We know that whether autocratic, democratic, transactional, transformational, every kind of leadership involves some method of motivating employee. So here in the transactional leadership, motivation is derived from an arrangement whereby employees are rewarded for accomplishing goals set for them. So for example, some of the leaders has given some of the target. If the employees are accomplished that those target, means they will be rewarded. So this is a kind of motivation in terms of monetary here, rather than non-monetary. Monetary motivation will be given here. So what are the tasks assigned to him? They will finish within the given time span and they will be rewarded. This system is extremely common and familiar in the business parlance. So for that we can have an example that when sales representatives are paid a commission or given performance bonuses for the number of sales they complete. Say for example 10 cars he has to sell in a month. This is a target. For that selling that cars, he will be given some of the commission, he will be given some of the bonus. So which is what? Which is a reward on successfully completion of some given task. This is about transactional leadership. So the leader or the organization wants employee to secure sales. They have to maximize their sales. So the motivation is provided in the form of money. The reward or bonus is given in the form of money. So motivation is monetary in case of here. It is a transaction in case of transactional leadership. So here performance for compensation satisfy not only the follower, also the leader. Why? Because leaders wants to sell this much of cars for this month, and the same task will be given to follower, so that win-win situation to follower and leader, both parties. But here the desires of the leader and the followers are not same. Desires of the leader may be different, but the target given to the follower is different. The desires of leaders and the followers are not same in this case, because the leader must provide some form of extrinsic motivation for the follower. So without giving motivation, follower will not want to do what the leader desires. So desires of follower and leader is different in this transactional leadership. So let us see some of the characteristics of transactional leadership then. So first one is contingent reward. So as we are talking about motivation in case of transactional leadership, here motivation given in the form of reward, but this reward is contingent, which means a follower may obtain that reward, may not obtain that reward. But the contracts exchange of rewards for effort only. If effort not put in a proper way, the reward won't be given. So promises, rewards for a good performance, recognize accomplishments will be there, but if not so, the reward will not be there. So this is a management by exception. One more characteristics of transactional leaders is a management by exception. So which means they formulate rules, standards, and also they will take corrective action. Also they watches, searches the deviations also. So which is a management by exception. In the case of management by exception, each and every department, each and every employee will have objectives. Very importantly, they have to fulfill that objectives, and rules, regulation, formulation, standards, everything is formulated in case of transactional leadership. So this is one more characteristics is laissez-faire. Laissez-faire in the case, even if any time the follower or leader is escaped from their responsibility, they abdicate their responsibility, because it won't work every time. Because of the business, say for example sales executives, the sales executive can't achieve goals every time, since it is a seasonal business. So they abdicate the responsibility, avoided making direction also. So one more characteristics is laissez-faire. Laissez-faire means they abdicate responsibility, avoid taking responsibility. So this is a typical characteristics of transactional leadership. So let us also see some of the advantages. This kind of transactional leadership is advantageous in few scenario. When it is applicable, when it is advantageous, let us see when you have a full team those who are having self-interest or self-motivated people, this transactional leadership is the best fit for this kind of situation. When your follower are self-interested, they are self-motivated, you cannot make any motivation here, because if the follower are not going to achieve the given target, means they will be punished, so that they will get demotivation. So one more thing, you need a clear structure for the system, because here the required skill is repetitive task, specifically for larger organization or group. Here follower has to make repetitive tasks. For that, clear and specific structure you need to give in the system. And very importantly, when you want to achieve short-term goals very quickly, so then this transactional leadership will be advantageous. So this is about transactional leadership. Now let us see what are the difference between transactional leadership and transformational leadership. This side is transactional, this side is transformational. So firstly, leadership is responsive. So here transactional leadership, something must be achieved on a short-term basis. So leadership is a responsive. Here leadership is proactive. In the case of transformational leadership, intellectual is a matter, inspiration is a matter, motivation is a matter. So leadership is proactive in case of transformational leadership. So here works within organizational culture. Very importantly, transactional leader work within the organizational culture, whereas in the case of transformational leader, they try to change the organization culture by implementing new ideas. Since they are very intellectual, they find loopholes, they find shortcomings, problems, pitfalls in the organization structure, so that they also are going to fix those problems. And here in the case of transactional leadership, employees achieve objectives through rewards and punishment. If they achieve the given task, is reward will be given. If not, they will be given punishment. In case of transformational leadership, they achieve objectives through higher ideas, moral values, motivation and something. So this is different than transactional leadership. So motivates a follower by appealing to their self-interest. In the sense, a leader will appeal to the follower like, if it is good for you only, if you sell this much of car, you will get this much of reward, bonus, something like that. The leader, in the case of transformational leadership, they appeal to the self-interest of the follower. In the case of motivation, in the transformational leaders, motivate followers by encouraging them to put group interest first. Here personal interest, self-interest is ignored, but for a while here the matter is group interest. So as I told you, here is a management by exception, which means they set rules, policies and standards, and then corrective actions will also be taken. Here concentration will be individualized. So individualized concentration will be given. So management by exception is not applicable in case of transformational leadership. So intellectual stimulation or motivation is zero in case of transactional leadership. Why? Because the practice is punishment or reward. Since punishment or reward is a final desire, so intellectual stimulation or motivation is zero. Here intellectual stimulation is very high. They promote creative, innovative ideas to solve problems. So this is about difference between transactional and transformational leadership. Now it is time to conclude. So we saw transactional leadership, we also saw the transformational leadership. These two classes of theories differ primarily in what the sources of motivation. So in case of transactional leadership, motivation is the money, returns, reward is a motivation. In case of transformational, inspiration is the motivation. And as I told you, in case of transactional leadership, the desires of the leader and desires of the follower is not same, because leader will offer extrinsic motivation to the follower. So without offering extrinsic motivation to the follower will not in a position to listen to the leader desires. So concept of transformation leadership takes a different approach to solving a dilemma, solving a problems. So compared to transactional leadership, rather than providing extrinsic motivation, so that appeals to the followers' different desires, transformational leadership is committed to changing the desires of the follower so that they match the desires of the leader. So desires of the leader will be matched to desires of the followers in the case of transformational leadership. So they change the mental set of the followers. So this is about transactional and transformational leadership. I hope you got the things about the transactional and transformational leadership. This is the reference material for preparing this video. Thank you so much for watching.